Welcome to the show where we talk about buying, selling, online selling, eBay, Mercari, Amazon, garage sales, estate sales.
Good morning, everybody. August 1st, 2022. Already 5 more months left to the end of the year. But good morning, everybody. I'm waiting for a few people to come in. Today, we're going to talk about flea market booths, antique booths as an extra stream of income. I know I've done this show in the past, but I wanted to do an update because we hit on it a couple of times in the past weeks. And it seems like people had a lot of questions like how, why, fees, etc. So, so far I have 3 experts in the field of having booths. And hopefully we'll get a varied amount of answers for you. Because every antique mall, every flea market is different. The fees are different no matter where you go. Some areas, some shops will advertise for you. Some will make you advertise. Some will charge credit card fees. Some won't. But I think the big thing is that I want to find out, because now I have done it. I have had a booth, and I want to find out, did the booth come first and then the online selling, or did the online selling come first and then the booth? So get your questions ready. Put them in the chat. Please put question or little doodads in front of the question so it'll stand out. And be patient in case I don't look at the chat all the time. But without further ado, we have on the panel Debbie and Maxx Go Thrifting. Good morning, Debbie and Maxx. How are you? Haven't seen you in a while.
Good morning.
We have Kajun Roots Reseller Johnny. Good morning, Johnny. How you doing? You're muted.
I just realized that.
Okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Evidently, when you were doing your preview, it didn't unmute me after.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing great.
And we have Stuart from Franklin Hill Ventures. Good morning,
hey, Paul.
Stuart.
Hey, everyone.
Good morning.
Good
So
morning.
let's first start with some introductions. Debbie and Maxx, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, we're located in Roanoke, Virginia. I've been reselling since 1998. Maxx and I met in 1999, and
that's what got me started doing the
yeah,
reselling.
I drug him in kicking and screaming.
Well, when I saw you able to sell used McDonald's bags on eBay, I thought, well, there's got to be something to this.
Yeah, he worked. I worked full time until 2006. In addition to doing the reselling, and he worked full time until December of last year while doing the reselling, but he retired December 31st. So we have really been enjoying this year, getting to travel and thrift and just having a blast going out there. It's the first time since COVID that we've been able to take any of our trips, which we are known for. And we're just got back from a 6-week trip. We hit South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia, and we're leaving the 31st of August, and we're going to Maine, and we'll be up there for a month, and we're going to hit New York, Maine, and Connecticut.
Nice.
Yeah,
I was just up there myself, and I got to tell you some of my my honey holes up there in Maine.
Yeah, please do.
But I have to ask. I think I asked a little bit in the chat once. Maxx is now retired, right?
Yes, for the second time.
I thought typically when you retire, you let yourself go a little, you let the hair grow out a bit, but he went in the reverse. cut all his hair off. He's respectable
Well,
now. What
see-
was the
see-
thought process behind that?
Back in 2020, my hair had been getting kind of shaggy, and I was like, okay, I need to go get it cut. And this was during the middle of March in 2020. Well, we all know what happened at the end of March in 2020. And so that all started. So I just kind of said, well, okay, I'll just kind of go with it and let it go. And finally it got to the point where here, about a month ago, 2 months ago, I said I was getting really tired of it. And
Well, you should
cut it
know
back.
it was veterans.
Oh, yeah, it was the
Because you picked the day because
Yeah,
it
I
had
know.
something to do with the military.
May 9th.
Yeah.
So what's next? Shirt and tie?
No, that's never happened again.
No.
I've asked him many times since he retired. I'm like, this is kind of my baby. And do you want to, if you want to say, okay, this is it, we'll get rid of everything and literally retire, we'll do it. But he looks at me and goes, what would we do?
I tried that once when I retired from the Marine Corps back in 1995. And I thought, oh, this is great, because I made enough money on my retirement. I didn't have to do anything. And so I kicked back. And after about 6 months, I was like, okay, I got to do something. So I went back to work again.
Cool.
And I did the same thing. When we moved up here in 2006, I said, oh, I'm tired. And I had been working 2 jobs. My mom was in a nursing home. I was taking care of her, and she passed away in 99. And I just was working a full-time job, a part-time job, or whatever. And I was still doing eBay. So when we moved up here, I said, I think I'm just going to take a break, And so that lasted about 6 months. And I said, I'm bored to tears. So I started reselling again.
Okay. All right. Well, hold on. Next we have Mr. Kajun Roots.
Well, my name is Johnny. Everybody knows me as part of the Kajun Roots Reseller, or Return of Kajun Roots Reseller. I actually started back in 2010, 2011 with a friend of mine who had a thrift shop, and got a little small booth there and started doing that. And that's how I actually got into doing the reselling portion of thrifting. Basically started with things in my house that we didn't touch or use, or it was just sitting there. And I basically started that. And then in 2019, March the 11th, we found out that my husband, Robert, had to move to Massachusetts because of his job. They closed the office down in Louisiana, which I was born and raised in Louisiana, south of New Orleans. And so we had to move up here. Came up here, looked for a house. So my first question was, because I already had 2 businesses in Louisiana, like what I'm going to do. I'm so used to working for myself, moving to a state that I don't even know anyone. And so he started getting me to watch a couple of YouTube channels. Maybe you can do this. You've done it before with our friend James, and maybe you can do this. So I started watching, and sure enough, when we started packing the house, now mind you, exactly 6 months to the day, we moved into our new home in Louisiana. And exactly 9 months from the day we actually signed the mortgage for the house, we moved in. Exactly 9 months later, we are signing the new lease here, the new mortgage here in Massachusetts. So then we had to sell both of our homes that we had in Louisiana while coming up here. So when I purged the house, because I was packing boxes that said basement, eBay inventory. That way, when we moved, the movers came in and put it all in the basement for me. And that's how I actually started with my inventory. Started on eBay first, got to learn the area, started checking out some different antique booths. We'd go on the weekends and check out different stores and places and locations. And then I found one that I liked, started checking them out. And for me, I started with just a typical little corner shelf as my booth. And that was the cheapest, the easiest thing for me to start bringing small things in to see if I liked it. And then I grew into a second booth. So I still had the corner booths, and I did have a smaller booth. And so I kept buying the location in the marketplace where I'm at. And then I turned around and found a bigger spot that I was waiting for. And because I was in the door already, I was able to get a place that was already available that I was looking at as well. And so I basically reduced the 2 booths that I had down to 1. Well, that was good. But then I started doing more vintage jewelry and vintage fitting and things like that. So then a case came open that was a glass lockable case. And so now I have a walk-in booth and I have a glass case because I do split the things up that are either high-end, vintage, things that are either breakable or things that I don't want to have just easily walk away because they are higher in price. So now I do have a glass case and a walk-in booth. And I have been doing this now I've been doing eBay for 3 years as of last month. No, of July. Yeah, that last month. On the 24th, I started selling on eBay 3 years ago. And then 2 years ago, I started with my antique booth, and I've been doing it ever since.
Cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Next, we have Franklin Hill Ventures, Stuart.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for having me on. And I love hearing these other stories. And in a lot of ways, mine mirrors some of what both Johnny and Debbie and Maxx have said. I mean, if you look at my eBay account, I started reselling in 1998, but I really didn't do anything serious at that point. My first experience with a flea market or a booth was in 1991 when I first graduated from college. I opened a sports card booth in Nashville. So it was just a weekend gig and did that for about a year.
Stuart,
yeah.
Excuse me, just 1 minute. The stats, thank you very much. That's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming in also. Sorry, Stuart, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. So anyway, now I've grown to the point where I sell online and I sell on eBay, Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, and Facebook Marketplace, as well as Whatnot now. And much like Johnny, I started out with booths. Well, I guess before I did booths, I had a friend of mine who got me kind of into flea markets here in the Knoxville area up in Sevierville, which is close to Gatlinburg. And I did that for about a year. But the main thing I didn't like about the flea market was you had to be there every weekend. And having 4 kids at the time, I still have 4 kids, but, a little younger then, I just couldn't keep doing that. So I quit doing that and then just sold online for a long time. And then about 6 years ago, I was at an auction back when you could still have in-person auctions before COVID. A lady came up to me and said, "Hey, I see the kind of stuff you buy, and I think you'd do well at the antique mall where I am." So my wife and I went out there the very next day and rented a half a booth because that's all they had available. So started out with this half booth, and then the very next month, the person in the other half of the booth left. So I expanded to 1 booth, and then maybe a year later went to 2 booths at that location, and then eventually went to 4 booths there. And
Wow.
Now I have 2 other locations as well in Knoxville. The place I have 4 booths in Clinton, so you can see on my shirt, very well known for antiquing. Anytime you see a top 10 list, Clinton, Tennessee's own that a lot. And then my other 2 booths are actually in Knoxville. So yeah, I guess I should have mentioned I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. So anyway, that's, I grew from this little half a booth up to the 6 booths I have now, spread across 3 locations.
But also, because you've been on with me several times, you actually work. Is that you work at one of the antique malls? Is that volunteer or is that actually, I don't know, a paid position?
Well, it's so basically one of the locations I'm at, the one in Clinton, they have the opportunity to be a working dealer. And I mean, really, I could work as much as I wanted just about because they're always looking for people. But I tend to work 2 to 3 Saturdays a month, 1 Sunday, and I work the cash register. And they do knock some money off your rent for doing that as well. So, that helps out from a financial standpoint. But then really the big benefits just being there, seeing what kind of stuff's moving at any given time, the connections I've made, meeting people who come to the counter, either looking to sell stuff or just talking to them. And, they end up saying, "Hey, I've got a house full of, grandmother stuff that I want to get rid of." And it's amazing the amount of connections I've made from a sourcing standpoint from working those Saturdays and Sundays.
That's very cool. And that's true. I mean, you get to see everybody firsthand and you get, if they want to offer, "Hey, I'm selling," and you say, "Well, hey, I got a booth here, I'm buying." That is very cool. And thank you, Ella. Thank you very much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody coming in.
What? Oh, yeah.
actually have anything cool to do for super stickers or anything. But so now, Johnny and Debbie Maxx, do you also put in time at your markets at the register?
Go
No.
ahead, Debbie.
They have full-time cashiers there, and no, we are not required to, and we do not.
Well, a little history on us running in malls, because when we were in Louisiana, we had what would you call it?
Like a gift shop.
Gift shop in an antique mall that we ran.
No, in a flea market.
It was a flea market. That's right. It was in a flea market. And ran that up until we got a 3-day notice that they're selling the building and we had to move everything out.
Wow, 3 days.
Yeah. And it was on a Friday. They gave us the notice.
Wow.
And we had to be out by Monday. That was fun, packing everything up in that time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So it's kind of put us off doing the antique malls and flea market stuff for a while until we moved up here, and we're sitting there looking at all this inventory we had and know what to do with it. And finally,
Well, and the thing too, we were going to auctions, live auctions, and garage sales and estate sales, and we would see this fabulous stuff, dirt cheap, tables and chairs and all this big stuff, and we couldn't do anything with it. And I kept saying to him, this is just, how much money could we make off of this stuff if we had someplace, to put it or whatever. And so we kept talking about it. And I said, well, what do you think about, maybe checking into an antique mall? And we went up, and we literally, ours is 5 minutes from our house.
Nice.
And so we went up and talked to them, and of course they never have vacancies. So, but we said, let's get one booth, and we had already been picking up some of the bigger items. And I said, let's get one booth and try it.
Yeah, we it was, I think, beginning of January is when we first went up there and says, hey, we want to get a booth. And they says, well, we'll let you know when we get one. So we got our display stuff. We got that. We got stuff to sell. We started gathering that, and we even came across one of those great big 8-foot glass cases that we could put in there. Really
like a jewelry case.
Case. Yeah, we got that. We had all this stuff sitting here waiting, and it's kind of, well, maybe we're about ready to say, well, maybe we should start selling this stuff, and just calling it a loss when they called us and said, hey, we got an opening, and that's how it started.
Yeah, it was only March. We applied in January, and they called us in March and said we have an opening.
Yeah.
So
very cool. March 1st of 2020.
Yeah, but I was very, very fortunate. I have a friend that has a thrift store, and she does estate cleanouts. And when we got on the list, I called her and said, I'm opening a booth at an antique mall. I need shelves. I need anything like fixtures, whatever. And we pretty much got all of ours. Dirt. How much did we pay for that glass plate?
$10.
Yeah, she let us have a glass jewelry case.
8-foot, 2-shelf with lockable doors underneath. And
wow.
Yeah, it was.
And I don't even think we paid more than $20 for any of our shelves.
No, not more.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
The only one was the glass one we paid up for.
Oh yeah, we have a glass one that we put all our fancy glass and blown glass and stuff on. We bought that from another vendor in the mall who was closing out later.
Yep. But you're not required, or you're not offered to work at the cash wrap.
No, they take a flat 12% off your earnings for the month, and they consider that, your contribution.
Okay. How about you, Johnny? Are you offered, or are you asked?
The one I'm at, no, they have their own set. The owner and family members basically run it, and there are a few of those who actually work there that have booths as well. So for us, we're not required, because for me, it's a flat, whatever your rent is. So if you're selling over the amount of your rent, the rent is covered, and then you get what's remaining over the rent. Other than that, they don't charge me for, I don't have to do any floor time. I don't have to do any of that. But I have to say, my sister-in-laws, they're in Chicago or in Illinois, and they have been with the antique mall that they're at for a long time. And when the owner passed away and the lady who took it over basically grandfathered everyone in who was already working on the floor as part of their rent or as part of their booth, they were able to stay on that way. And so only one of my sister-in-laws actually is still grandfathered in there where she does her floor time, like on the weekends or when she's not working. But that's the only way they were able to keep it up, is because then the lady who took it over passed away and their children took it over. So they were still grandfathered into where she can do her floor time, but she has to have so many hours of floor time to be part of her rent. So they do, but we don't. So every state, every place is different when it comes to that.
Cool. Now, one of the questions that comes up every time we talk about this on the show is people are nervous about theft. About, you can't see your stuff. You can't control your stuff. And they're worried about theft. I mean, typically theft is cost of doing business, but do you, the four of you, do you have a problem with theft in your areas? And good morning, Amy and Mom and Patrick and everybody that came in. Thank you very much. If you have a question, put it in the chat.
Yeah, for me, it has not been a huge issue. Now, I have pretty good locations with my booth, but even when I was closer to the back of the malls, I don't feel like it was ever a huge issue. I'm sure I've had stuff stolen, but it's never been enough that it's been a really big concern to me. So,
our mall is located. There's one exit, and it's right by the cashiers. So anybody leaving the building has to walk literally right by the cashiers, and there's never less than 3 cashiers on duty. So we have noticed a few small things,
Pocket-sized items.
yeah, but nothing valuable.
Yeah.
But very, very few. And we do have 3 locked cases for anything that's, gonna be, hit us hard or whatever. But on the way they have the exit, you got to walk right by the cashier. So unless it's something you can put in your, like all my jewelry and stuff is locked. So if they can't put it in their pocket, they're probably going to get noticed.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, I've had, for example, I had a lot of under $5 worth of earrings or things that are on cards. And I used to have a display where basically it was a 4-sided that you turn, and I had the cards clipped on those. And I've had somebody at one time, and this was right at the beginning when I first started with it, where they took the earrings off the card and left the card. So that was the only time I had that happen. And then that was when I was in another booth, though, in a different location in the store, in the mall where I'm at. But now that I've moved to where I'm at, plus the glass case, the only thing I've ever had was my first time I had the bookshelf display. I had a set of, it was an old pair of Kessler scissors, but it was a like a quilter's sewing kit. It had the stainless steel scissors and the measuring tape, the measuring ruler, but it was in metal. It's stainless steel. Someone left the scissors and took the actual measuring ruler. So that was the only other 2 times I had it. But I'm noticing that we do have a lot more cameras now.
Yeah, we do too.
And you can put your own security cameras, because I know there's a couple of booths that this one guy that just built something, and it's all albums. And he actually has a few cameras set up in his booth. And you can do that too as well. But because I have the glass case now, I do a lot of the things that can fit in your pocket that are of value in the lock case. So they have to ask for a key.
Yeah, you brought that up, and I remember something very interesting that was stolen from our booth. We have one of those little racks for earrings too, that little spinny ones. And the oddest thing was stolen off of it. They didn't take the earrings; they took the earring backs.
They take the backs off the earrings.
That's weird.
I mean, they're pennies, because I order them for the older ones. I order them off Amazon, and they're pennies a piece. And I said, well, if they needed them that bad, I got more. I mean, but there are cameras all over our market. I don't know. They told me how big it was, and I forgot, because I was going to do a little video of it. It's huge. But also, like I say, there's 3 or 4 people on duty at all times, and almost always one of them is walking the aisles. They walk
nice.
the aisles because Max and I've been there working. They walk the aisles. They jiggle the cases to make sure they're still locked.
Nice.
They go up and down. They look. So we're very, very fortunate, and all the people that work at our mall are very, very knowledgeable. And if somebody asks them a question, they can talk about the merchandise and stuff. So
Nice.
it's not like no offense to teenagers, but it's not like having some little teenager go, I don't know nothing about that or whatever.
They'll look at it. It's $9.95. What else you want?
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people come in and go, hey, I'm looking for like milk glass. Do you have any milk glass? And they go, oh yes, we have some over. Boo so and so has some. Let me take you over and show you that. So we're very, very fortunate in our mall.
Nice.
And
I can relate with.
I wanted to say real quick, the place I'm located at, if for some reason, because I keep everything on a spreadsheet. So every month when I go through my sales and I see what's sold, and I take it off and then I do an inventory. One time there was something that was missing, but if you have a picture, because I take pictures of all my items that I bring with the tag, and thank God I did, because they even said if you find something missing, let them know. And you need to let them know how often you go in the show to your booth, and that way they get an idea of when was the last time you saw it. And for me, I just had to send her a picture of the item it was missing, and they found it in someone else's booth because somebody must have picked it up. Oh, let me just drop off. I found something else, and it's in another booth. But what we have is at the front desk, where you have to go through by the register to go out. There's a big display case that if you find something in your booth that's not yours, you just place it there and say this is for someone else, and they can go.
Yeah, we find stuff constantly in our booth. I'm like, no.
Yeah, we take it up to the front desk, and they have this set of shelves that they just set it on and say, okay.
Yep.
And I can relate to missing parts of items, but what I used to do is a lot of people know is I like to wrap everything with clear wrap. And when I had my booth, I was nervous about it, but I would put some of the old 60s G.I. Joe stuff in there. And I remember one time I had this big craft, and I would wrap around it because I'd tell people, like the owner would say, well, why are you wrapping it? I said, well, one thing, I can put the sticker on it. They don't have to worry about taking the sticker off. I said, but somebody could come by and take this ladder. This ladder alone that just hangs on the side sells for $20-something. These sell for $5. So if I wrap it as complete, then I have less of a chance of somebody trying to rip the wrap off and pull those pieces off. But so I can relate with that stuff. But some of the questions are coming in like Renee. I had to pay $150 a month for a 5x7 plus 10% on each sale, plus an additional 3% credit card fee. I made money, but too many fees. Do you guys pay rent plus a percentage of what you sell? What's the cost for a booth? I could tell you mine was 10 by 20, 10 by 15. I was paying $210 plus 12%. That's it. I liked it because there's a big flea market. You all know Renegers. That's a big name throughout the country, I guess. They had a flea market. I could have got a permanent booth Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I had to be there. It was $300 and something a month for that, but I had to be there. 10 miles, 15 miles down the street was this big antique mall, open 7 days a week, and I didn't have to be there. So let's go to Stuart, where you are. You don't have to mention how much you pay, but do you know how much your fees are for a, say, 10 by 10 booth in your mall?
Yeah, so roughly, and it varies a little bit, but I would say booths in the Knoxville area run between around $2 to $2.50 a square foot. So what would that mean? 10 by 10 would be what, $200?
$200, yeah.
Roughly. And yeah, so it's a little different. I mean, I know in the introduction you were talking about, some places pay credit card fees for you, some you have to pay them. So I kind of run the gamut at my location in Clinton. That's where I have the 4 booths, and I'm fortunate. I mean, I'm right inside the front door. So as soon as you walk in, you're in my space, and, that's kind of pecking order of being there for 6 years. I mean, I bided my time from the half booth in the back to, every time one would be open, I would just make sure they knew, hey, I want to move up as soon as you have an opening. And, now I would have what I would consider the primo spot in the whole place in that particular mall. And there I pay my rent, that one's probably about $2.25 to $2.50 a square foot, I think there. Plus I pay 10%, but the customers pay the credit card fees there. They started doing that about a year and a half ago. And, I was worried whether it would hurt sales, but most customers are fine with that, or you just tell them you can pay cash or write a check and not pay those credit card fees. So that's nice there that I don't have to pay the fees. Then at my other locations, both of them are about 10 by 12 foot spaces, and they're probably in the same range, around $2.50 a square foot. And then I do pay the credit card fees there. It's 3%, then plus the 10% commission. But I just kind of look at it. I'm always comparing. What am I paying in my booths versus what I'm paying in my online marketplaces, and I run higher margins in my booths than I do online for the most part. I mean, it's like anything, just like online. I mean, it can be kind of cyclical depending on the months. Like I'm expecting August to be slow because it's back to school. People aren't out as much. They're getting their kids ready for school. But then you hit September, especially in East Tennessee. That's when people start coming here to see the leaves change in the mountains. September, October are like usually two of my biggest months. And then plus we have a huge antique festival in Clinton.
Nice. So your rent
business
and a percentage, and at one place your rent, a percentage, and a credit card.
Correct.
Fee. Johnny, how does yours work?
Mine, when I first started, I started with a 25. It was a little a corner bookend shelf. That was $25 for the rent, and then I went to a 4x6. That was $50 a month for the rent, and then I got rid of those two and got to a bigger one, which was a 10x6. I paid $120 for that, and then I also have a glass case, which I pay $60 for that. So my flat rate is my rent. I don't pay any additional charges. I don't pay any fees. I don't pay anything on the credit cards. It's just flat rent, and that comes off of my sales, and then I get the rest.
That's nice.
Some months that are
That'd be awesome.
That's nice. So that's Massachusetts for you. And then we have Kentucky, right, Stuart?
Tennessee.
And now Debbie and Max, is yours. How does yours work?
In Virginia? Yeah.
Virginia.
We got our booth. Our 10 by 10 booth is $160 a month.
We have 2 of those.
And we have 2 of those. And jewelry case is $45 a month.
And we have 2 of those.
Yeah.
And our jewelry cases pay our rent every month.
All the booths, all the booths.
And we pay flat 12% on anything we sell.
And no credit card fees.
No credit card fees. And we have only had to write them a check. We went in
that was
March
of 2020. They closed down for COVID in April.
And they did not charge us.
And they didn't charge us any rent during the time they were closed. Opened back again. It was August. August they opened back up, and August was the only month we did not make rent.
And we had to pay. It was like $30.
Yeah, we had
to pay them. Other than that, we have made rent.
Plus
It's very, and it's
depends on the time of year.
Like he says, we're in the Blue Ridge Mountains, so we have a lot of people come here for the changing of the leaves and the mountains too in September. So hopefully, June, July, and August have been slow for us. We've made rent.
Yeah,
but
yours is rent and a percentage.
Yeah,
12%.
12%. Yeah.
Okay. And talking about the leaves. When I lived in Massachusetts, you couldn't rent a hotel room in September or whatever anyway because people wanted to see the leaves. My response: if they had to rake them once, they wouldn't want to see them anymore.
No,
Max just runs over hours with the lawnmower and lets them go back to the earth or whatever. But.
And thank you for coming in, Perlini, Jerry, Jennifer Hayes, and anybody else I missed. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming in. We're talking about antique booths at malls with a booth in the mall, flea market booths as a extra source of income. Now, I did speak to someone from Facebook. They're not on today. They're in, the Vegas area,
Mm,
and they also pay rent plus a percentage of the sale plus 3% commission. So there you have 3 or 4 different states.
what's the difference in a percentage of the sale and commission? It's the same thing.
Well, one was the credit card sale. The credit card.
Credit card.
Yeah.
I don't get that, but we're very fortunate in that we're close to a major interstate, 81, and our mall, we don't do any advertising, but our mall has ads in like countless antique, magazines, those little things you pick up at the rest stops and all that kind of stuff. So we get a lot of travelers that come in and stop in and stuff. So we're very fortunate with that.
Do you, since you're all here, you're all YouTubers also, do you, in your booth, do you advertise my YouTube channel is this, or I'm always looking to buy this? Do you advertise inside your booth for your YouTube or your Facebook and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, I do. I mean, I don't specifically advertise my YouTube channel because that's probably what I spend the least time on. But I advertise my website, which has links to all my online marketplaces, and then and I don't specifically have anything in any of them saying I'm buying these specific things, but as I mentioned earlier, just from working there, I get a ton of sourcing opportunities that way. And the other, I mean, the other dealers and the people who work the counter who aren't dealers, also know that I buy, so they'll pass my card out a lot to people. I do keep my business cards in each of my booths as well, and then I have a little sign that's got a QR code on it. They can just scan to go straight to my website.
Nice.
We don't. We have enough inventory. We could fill 6 more booths. So we're kind of,
man.
yeah, we're kind of overloaded with inventory. My close friends know what I do, and we have, they're older, they're 70s and 80s, and a lot of them are downsizing and stuff. So they've actually said, come to the house. I want you to see what I've got or whatever. And I didn't really want to do it because that's the easiest way to make a friend an enemy, is to come and tell you, I'll give you $25 for this $250 vase if you think that's what it's worth, but they kept bugging and bugging and bugging. So we did do it with a couple of people, and I've got a couple more people who want us to come and value and take their stuff away from them because they want to go to smaller places.
Oh, wow.
But I don't like to do it because as well as I do, their cherished vase they've had for 50 years is worth $10.98, and they think it's worth $300. So
when they initially came to us, they were saying, well, would you sell this for us on commission?
Yeah.
And we kind of hesitantly tried it for a little bit, but then we turned around and said, no, we're not doing that. We'll just buy it outright from you because it's a real headache to try and do that commission sales.
That's true. Actually, not to get off the subject, Johnny, hold on. I had to take my wife's car for an oil change to a mechanic that we found years ago, and I've always taken it there. And I gave him my card, and he finds out that I resell and stuff. And his mother came to me, and she said, I saw your card. My mom passed away, and she has a whole bunch of snow babies. Can you sell them for me? That's what I could do either way. I could sell them for you, or I could just give you a price on a buyout. Even I don't know what snow babies are worth. But yeah, you always get opportunity like that. But go ahead, Johnny. I'm sorry to get off the topic.
Buy the snow babies. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I sell those so fast. I love buying those. For me, I forgot what the question was.
Yeah, and I did too. What was the question?
Do you advertise in your booth?
Oh, do you advertise?
In my booth, in both of my booths, I do have the logo of my business name and the YouTube and all, but I do have a card holder that holds my business cards, and that does have all my YouTube, my eBay, and all that on there. I also advertise wherever I go, especially when I go to estate sales, because you just never know when you're going to meet somebody. Like, for example, the person who used to come and do our work around the house, I gave him a business card one day because he says, wait, aren't you on YouTube? I said, yeah. Don't you sell on eBay? Yeah. Do you have Funko Pops? Yes, I do. And so I'm starting to pull out the Funko Pops, and I'm making a sale right here while he's working at the house. So you just never know what or who somebody's needing something. So it's always best, because I never leave home without my business cards, and I'm always talking about what I do, even at garage sales, because you just never know. Somebody may be passing by and see, maybe, do you have this? So if you have your information, even on a business card, they can contact you and say, do you have this? And you can maybe help somebody that way. So yes, I do advertise in my booths.
Well,
Yeah.
we have one problem, and it's my fault. When I started in 1998, I had the name got the number 2 Havoc Collectibles. And because I don't, this, at the time I was selling collectibles like action figures and Hot Wheels. And my thing, which I was talking to people, was they buy 2. They buy 1 to put away and save, and they buy 1 to open up and play with. So I thought that was catchy, whatever. So I went with that. Well, and then I started selling books on Amazon, and I picked up the name Lost in the Pages on Amazon. And I did very well there. And then I started doing handcrafted items that I made, knitting, and I don't know.
Blue Ridge.
That was Made for You.
Oh, maybe.
That was Made for You. It was another business name. So now, of course, I brought Maxx into it.
Kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
All the
And
way.
we're Debbie and Maxx Go Thrifting. So I got all these business names behind me, and we went to sign the lease on the booth, and they said, well, what is your name going to be? And I'm like, I look at him and go, well, it can't be Debbie and Maxx Go Thrifting, because that makes everything sound cheap. So
Well, the best part of it is we pull out our business license, and on it says Blue Ridge Goodies.
no, it
Oh,
doesn't.
wow.
Yes.
No,
Wow.
it doesn't. It says made for you.
Oh, okay.
It
Where
has
did Blue Ridge Goodies come?
that. I'm at the top. Literally within 5 minutes, I'm like, I got to come up with a name for this place.
Oh,
And
that's where, yeah.
yeah. And I thought, oh, Blue Ridge Goodies. So we've got all of these names, but we're down now to Maxx and Debbie Go Thrifting, and the
No, it's
antique
Debbie
stuff.
and Maxx Go Thrifting.
Well, whatever. And then the booth is Blue Ridge Goodies. But yeah, we got so many of these. That's another confusion. But I did it when we first started the booth. I put little business cards in there that had, look for us on YouTube, and it even Maxx even
cool.
did a scan thing.
QR code.
Yeah, QR code. And I said, take this card to the register to get 10% off your purchase. And I did all this.
Never got touched.
Not a single person redeemed it for the 10% off or whatever. And I mean, I was selling stuff. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah.
Have you tried that lately with the market, the economy the way it is now? Have you tried it?
No, I haven't. When I showed the ladies up front what I was going to do, they said, why? And I didn't put an expiration date on it. And she said, are you sure you want to put this out there without an expiration date? And I said, well, at the time, I had no idea how long we were going to be in the mall. I thought, and she said, well, no, we have no problem with it. You can do it. But I would suggest maybe you put an expiration date on it. But no, we're doing so well. I haven't worried about it since.
Nice.
And
Hey, Paul. Sorry.
I was going to say, the thing too is what we sell on YouTube is absolutely nothing of what we sell.
Oh, wow.
Antique
Okay.
mall. So kind of,
Yeah. What were you going to say, Stuart?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to what Johnny said about telling everybody you're a reseller. And I know so many people, when they go to yard sales and thrift shops, it's like they're embarrassed or worried if they tell somebody that they're gonna not sell them something. And I'm sure that does happen occasionally, but the benefits of being open about it and carrying your cards and handing them out at yard sales, and I mean, the relationships I've made at thrift shops, I mean, they hold stuff back for me now because I've gotten to know them so well, learning their names. But I can't tell you how many times I go to a yard sale and they always ask, do you have records? Do you have, this? Do you have that? And, a lot of times, oh, yeah, I forgot to bring them out. But if you hand them your card, most of the time they're like, oh, I have all this other stuff that you might be interested in. They call you the next day. And I've gotten so much stuff by that, just by owning the fact that I resell rather than, I mean, and people who say, you know, are you a reseller, when they ask you and you say, oh, no, I'm just buying this for my sister's kids or whatever. You can spot us a mile away. They know your lines.
Yeah. Right.
Own it, you know.
Well, it's been our
We
experience.
have cameras on, so
Yeah.
it's kind of obvious.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's been our experience that if you go up front and you say, hey, you know, I'm a reseller, I do this and that, they're more willing to make deals with you.
Yep.
And say, hey, I'd like to buy this lot of stuff. And I say, yeah, okay, no problem. Where other people, they may say, well, you know, I might make better money if I sell it individually, you know. And but if you're
never know when somebody's trying to get rid of something and they got this idea that hopefully somebody will come along, but if they miss it, they're afraid they may not get that deal again. So it's always best to say, for example, a year or two ago, I went to this one garage. It was a citywide garage sale, and they had these multiple racks of LuLaRoe pieces, still brand new with the tags. And a lady was looking at it. I went straight up to the lady. I said, well, how much would you want for all what you have on all those racks? And I couldn't put the money out of my pocket fast enough when she said $60 for all of it. And so I said, well, let her finish what she's doing, and I'll take what's left. And I sold 3 pieces and made my profit. And then everything I'm selling after that was in profit. So you just never know. You know, somebody's just like, okay, I just want to get rid of it, you know? And so you want to be able to be part of that and be ready to buy something if it comes around.
Now, you know, staying on that vein of thought or that train of thought or whatever, I think you all go to live auctions because you have a booth now. Are you buying larger items like banquets, tables, and set of 6? You know, are you buying big items like that? Because here, furniture is dirt cheap at auction.
Mhm.
And most of it, because they come out of rental houses, look barely used. And it's name brand Ethan Allen, stuff like that. But unless you have a booth that you can display it and show people, I mean, do you all do that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, furniture and artwork come to mind. My wife calls one of my booths our art gallery because we literally have, I mean, it's funny, you know, you take a piece out this day and a couple of pieces the next day, and before you know it, you know, you have 100 pieces of art. And but yeah, like my booth in Clinton here, it's mostly tourist traffic. People, I think Debbie and Max mentioned, you know, there's a billboard on the interstate, so people get off the interstate traveling through, buy more like trinket type stuff. And I sell a little bit of furniture, but that's more my smalls and the kind of a volume model. But at my other 2 locations, they're both in the, like I would call it, the more old money section of Knoxville. So, I mean, you have a lot of interior designers coming in. So I sell a ton of furniture and artwork out of those locations. So, yeah, without the booths, I mean, I know you can use UShip on eBay or other online marketplaces to ship stuff. But, yeah, it's just easy to buy it, go hang it, go, you know, put it in the booth. And it's just a lot easier to sell that sort of stuff.
Well, we are, I mean, if you saw our pictures from our trip in Florida, you would laugh hysterically at me saying this, but we've got 2 storage units, a basement for 1,000-foot basement, and a 2-car garage that you can't get a car in. So we're desperately trying to get rid of that stuff. And also we can't see the dining room table, and our guest room, you'd have to sleep. We are to sleep because there's no room in there. We'd like to get rid of that stuff. And slowly but surely we're working on it. Because we want to get out of this house we're in. It's too big for us now. It's 2 stories and we want to get to a 1-story. But you also have to keep buying some things, you know, to keep the you know, up with what's going on right now. A lot of storage units, we've got one that has pretty much nothing but furniture in it.
Yeah, well, one of them is, there are 2 10 by 20 storage units, and one is almost solid furniture, and the other one is all smalls. And
a lot of it too,
stuff.
we bought it with the intention of Maxx just doing little things to it, you know.
Yeah.
and somebody hasn't.
Well, somebody went and filled up the garage where my shop is with other stuff, and I can't get in there to do the little things to it.
So, yeah, but you know, and that's my first advice to anybody who wants to get into this, especially like eBay or something you just want to do online. Don't buy anything until you've sold what you bought.
Yeah.
Because you do not know how fast it, adds up. You have no idea.
Oh yeah.
Take $100, go out and buy some stuff, put that stuff on eBay, and when it sells, take that money and go buy, some other stuff. But yeah, that was the worst mistake. Oh, it's only $10. Oh, it's only, and I mean, it's like you say, it's really nice furniture and stuff.
We got it for next to nothing at auction. I mean,
but it's sitting in a storage unit right now.
And you're paying monthly for that.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Johnny? You sell big things?
I have a collection of paintings that I do buy if I definitely see them, like either at a estate sale or any online auctions or auctions. But what I do is, for example, I use Maxx sold. You have to the auctions close on a certain date, and then they give you a time and a date to come and pick it up. I have purchased things like cedar chests that are full of stuff. So I'm not only getting the cedar chest, but I'm getting everything that's in it. So I buy those kind of things for the antique booth only. Things that are heavy, projectors, old movie projectors, old cameras with the whole big kit, the whole things that all of them come apart and unfold and all that kind of stuff. I do buy those for the antique booths. I find that a lot of that does sell better in the antique booths than me putting it online on any of the platforms I sell on. So for me, I do buy the bigger and heavier things, but I have not sold on Facebook Marketplace. I have signed up for it, but I haven't put anything on there yet because everything is selling in my antique booth. So say, for example, if I put it in there 2 months later, it's still sitting there, then yeah, I would pull it out. But I don't have that problem because it sells and pushes pretty quick. So I do that in one of the booths that I do have. And I do change out, and that's another thing I always do. Every week I go, or every other week, I'm always moving things around, giving it a fresh look, because you just never know how many people are going in on a weekly basis that live locally that are looking for what you have. And if they keep seeing the same thing, they're just going to keep on walking by. But my entry is where I keep a lot of the different things, and I have a section strictly for hanging pictures. And that way I always change it out, and I'll move in a new one to the front and move one of the older ones to the back of the booth. So that way they got a chance to look around. So that's what I do.
And I would echo what Johnny says on moving stuff around. I can't tell you how many times I'll just take, this item, move it from this shelf to this shelf, and it immediately sells.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to take new stuff necessarily. Just
Nope.
Move it from point A to point B and make it look different. And
Yep.
a lot of times that leads to sales.
we just had that happen. We had this large plate that was sitting up in our primary display area for quite a long time, and then just last week we moved it back to a back shelf, moved it, and it sold.
Nice.
Well, especially if you go to your booth on a regular basis, and I do it for every other week, no more than every other week or no less. So I can go ahead and dust it because it does get dusty in there.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm dusting things, I'm moving around things just to move from one shelf to the back shelf, or from the back shelf to the front shelf, or up and down. It doesn't matter. Either way, things are going to start selling when you start dusting and cleaning and moving around. And again, somebody who can be going in there, you just never know. So that's why I do that.
Yeah, and definitely keep it clean. We have one of those duster things, and we sweep the floors, and we've got our floors aren't that great. This used to be an old supermarket, so they've got like that linoleum floor stuff. It's not very attractive, so we always have like throw rugs we put down to kind of make it look nicer, and Maxx will vacuum those. But yeah, keep it. People aren't going to come in a place that's dusty and dingy, and
we're learning a lot about Maxx. He vacuums, he cooks.
He does laundry.
Yeah, the place I'm at is
Yvonne, how do you guys get ideas on how to decorate? It's called merchandising.
I'm horrible. I will tell you, I'm never ever happy with the way my booth looks, and I get Johnny's is probably fabulous, but I just don't have that.
And Stuart says his wife would come in and do it. I would, when I had mine and Sandy came with me, I would put the stuff up, and then she would do her thing also.
Yeah, we have people that just have some gorgeous, gorgeous booths. I mean, just little touches here, little touches there. I don't have that knack. I mean, thank God we're still doing well and making rent, but I do see other people that I wish I had their knack for decorating.
Yeah.
Okay, but now hold on. The booth could look gorgeous, but is the stuff selling?
Well, and I will say this from what some of the staff has said and how they treat us and stuff, I think we're one of the top 5 sellers in the market.
Okay, nice.
They're extremely, extremely nice to us. They bend over backwards. And I know from the checks I get that, well, I also just walk around the market, and I like to walk around. That's another thing. Walk around your market, look at the other seller stuff, look at the booths, look at their prices. And I know from walking around, I mean, the lady across from us, our first booth we ever got, I don't think she's ever sold one single thing out of that booth. And you can write your name on her merchandise, you know.
The dust is so heavy.
I told myself she's supposed to sit down every month and write a check to them, and she does nothing. She hasn't put one single thing in there. But yeah, walk around and see, and you know, you may have the same thing or something very similar to somebody, and if theirs is $20 lower or yours is 20, you know, you gotta kind of pay attention to that stuff. You can't just, there's my booth, I'm gonna isolate myself right there. You gotta walk around and look.
In this booth that's across from ours, she has it jam packed. I mean, you have to almost turn sideways to sidle into it and get in there, and you'll see people walk up to it, look, turn around, look at ours, and walk into our booth because it's just overload. I think
I have heard from dealers when I was at mine. They said if you walk around, you'll know who's just using their booth as storage because it's cheaper than a storage unit.
Too. I thought, you know, I wonder if I asked Max one time, I said, is this cheaper than putting your stuff in storage? Is that why these people are doing it?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, we do call those storage unit booths at the malls we have, and fortunately, the owners of the malls are pretty good about it. You know, they'll ask somebody to leave if they're not selling anything because.
Oh wow!
When you talk about commission, I mean, you're getting their fixed rent, but you're not making any extra money for the booth. So.
We haven't kind of discussed this, but I'll tell you something else that our mall does, which I think helps a lot too. The people who own our mall, it's an older couple, and they used to be full-time antique dealers. And they have stuff in the very back that, you know, the public doesn't see. It's a huge area in the back. And when somebody moves out, the cashiers and stuff they're told, take our stuff, and it's got price and everything, put it in the empty booth. We don't want any empty booths in here. And, you know, you don't want to walk around and see 5 or 6 empty booths because it kind of, you're thinking, So they fill those booths as fast as they empty. And, I mean, they'll call somebody and say, hey, we've got a booth for you. But until they get up there and say, yes, I want that booth and want to put their stuff in, there's stuff in that booth.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it gives it a better look.
Ours does the same thing, and the one that we have, where I'm at, is an old cedar mill. And the lady who owns it, she actually has several booths that are closed throughout the year, but she's a big collector on Halloween. So every year, the week of Halloween, she will open it to the public, and only those booths are open by certain times of the day. And after that, she closes it. So you have to make sure you're there if you want to see her collection of stuff, because it's a lot. But one of the things I do have to say with our booth, if you are in there already, then if you're looking to move into a better location of that particular mall, if you are keeping up, you're there every day, or you're there every week or every other week, and they get to know you, then you're showing them that you want to keep this clean, you want to keep everything moving, they will let you pick another location first before somebody that comes off the street watch them go in there, because they see how you keep your booth up. And that's what's important about it. Just don't put it in there, leave it, and forget it. You know, you got to keep up with it.
Right. Maintain.
And that's been my experience as well. I mean, if you're there, they're gonna give you preferential treatment. And you know, as mentioned, I got the primo spot at one mall, and then I'm right next to the cash register at another. So, just.
And another thing too, don't be afraid to walk around, like Max was saying, walk around your location, because I have found 2 booths that are in my location always having 50 to 75% off their merchandise. They just want to move it. So when I see those, I will buy, because I know I can sell it for more than what they're selling it for, even at the 50 or 75% off. So don't be afraid to walk the malls and see who's got something on display, because they want to get rid of it. They want to put more merchandise in.
Or they may be moving out and want to get rid of their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie and Max, you said you're 5 minutes away from your mall.
Yeah.
In heavy
Stuart.
traffic, yeah, 5 minutes.
Stuart, how far are you away?
So from the one in Clinton, I'm about 30 minutes away from that one. The two in Knoxville, I'm maybe 15 minutes from one and 10 minutes from the other.
And
So,
Johnny?
On 20 to 25 minutes, depending on traffic, but no more than 25 minutes.
Well, no, when I had mine, I was an hour away, and that's without traffic.
yeah, and that would be tough because I mean it's so important to work your booth that that driving an hour would be difficult.
Right.
Well, I also, when I do go, I bring inventory just in case if I need to, because we don't, I know Debbie and Max do, but we don't. And I know my sister-in-laws do. Our place does not have a daily where you know what you're selling by the day. We have it the old-fashioned way. You got to wait for the month. You go on the 7th or after the 7th to claim your check. But I go and I refill. But if I'm bringing stuff that I know if I have room for it, I will move things around to make it fit. But if I'm not able to move things around, you don't have to fill it up. But again, they want you to clutter it. I don't like to have somebody walk in and they got to move things around or watch what they're hitting. I don't like that. So I keep mine nice and clean. And that way, when they walk in, they don't have to worry about knocking something over. But I do keep it enough filled to where I know that any space that's emptied, I use little fillers, little small things to keep those little spots filled.
Well, I mean, it's a business. It is a reflection on you. It's your business.
Yeah.
So that was one of the selling points on us moving into this mall, was that they keep it all computerized, the whole on a daily basis, and they send you daily updates on what's sold in your booth. I mean, that is just amazing.
Yeah, and you can go to the website and it'll actually tell you for the month. It'll already have your percentage subtracted and everything, so you can tell. Oh, so
I had that too.
I'm like, okay, it's literally the 10th of the month, and I'm like, okay, we've made rent for this month, and he's like, it's only the 10th of the month. Why are you worrying? I'm like, well, it just makes me feel better when I know the rent's paid.
Do you have? Is it called consignor access? Because I still have mine. You could see hour by hour, minute by minute. As soon as they sell something, it's on there.
Yeah. I don't know if that's what it's called, but yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, ours is definitely not that high tech.
Ours doesn't either.
Yeah, see, it makes the same thing.
Oh my God, I made rent. Yeah, we don't have that.
Well, I have to really stop myself. I only allow myself to go at the end of the day. We close at 6. We're open 7 days a week from 11 to 6. And I have to stop myself some days. If it's like a slow month, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll think, well, I could just kind of take a peek. And I'm like, no, just wait,
Right at the end of the day.
So you have your stuff, you pay your rent, you pay your percentage, you don't have to be there. Somebody needs to get something off the top shelf they can't reach, they go to the front and somebody helps them with it. You're not paying employees, you're not paying workers comp or anything like that. Do you all feel that's a good trade-off for another stream of income? To have the booth as another stream of income.
Well, that was kind of our thing. We're old enough now. I'm 65 and Max is 66. So we collect Social Security. So we have that coming every month. Max is a retired Marine. So we have his pension. It comes in every month. We do the YouTube auctions. So we have that coming in every month. And then we have our booth. So we have that coming in every month. And I grew up with the don't put all your eggs in one basket kind of philosophy. And hopefully if one month's bad on one place, another month's going to make up the difference. It really, really kind of killed me to stop eBay. But when Max retired the 31st of December, we couldn't do it. I told him, I said, we can't do this all. We can't. Something's got to give. What is our least favorite thing to do? And we both at the same time said selling online. We have to do all the pictures and the descriptions and all that. And we look back at our records and stuff, and he said, well, we're making enough. Well, we make enough just with this pension and Social Security to make a living, but for our fun traveling and stuff, we needed the extra. And it was just ahead of eBay was just getting so much more rules and regulations and taking more money, and just I told him, I said, this isn't fun anymore. You know, we wouldn't do this if we didn't enjoy doing it. And we love doing the antique mall, and we love doing YouTube auctions. So we said, well, let's just stop doing the eBay and see what happens. And we haven't missed it at all. But yeah, I advise anybody, you know, it's kind of like they say, don't give up your day job. Definitely, if you're just starting eBay or reselling or whatever, do not quit your job until you are, especially right now with this economy, till you have an established, you know, business going.
Well, a fine example of what can happen is when we started our little booth in Louisiana, we got doing so well with selling that and selling on eBay that she said, hey, you know, I don't need to work anymore.
Yeah.
And it was shortly after that we got kicked out of that antique mall.
Yeah.
Bottom dropped out of everything.
I worked for the state of Louisiana, had pension, you know, health insurance, had everything. But yeah, we were doing fabulous. And like a month later is when that happened. And yeah, so yeah, I lost my health insurance. We weren't married, so I couldn't get on his. And yeah, don't. You know, I see so many people. I've seen a couple of people who've done successful with it, but established them. I don't know if you know who Paper and Moose is. Yeah, she finally had the established to. She thought, well, I can quit my job, and she's been quit like a year and a half now, and she's doing okay. Yep. But it's a big leap, and especially that's the one thing you got to consider benefits.
Right.
You know, where's your health insurance coming from? Well, are you going to have enough extra to save to put away for, you know, your old age and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
It's just fun, but if you're not putting any of it away when you get old, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. What about you, Johnny? You feel that it's all worth it?
For me, it is, because for me, I don't feel like I have to do this. One of the things I have to say, though, again, I don't just do my antique booths because that's one of my incomes or stream of income. I don't just do eBay. I do the online auctions. I do Amazon, eBay, Mercari, Etsy. Anything that I know can be particular different platforms is where I put them at. So for me, I don't feel like I have to do this. For me, I enjoy it. So for me, that is just an extra StreamYard. And I look at this as that's my play money. Because if I didn't have that stream of income coming in, and I have sold things to where I can take that money and go back and buy more things, then if that never happens, then I would stop. But for me, it is a stream of income that keeps me from keeping on and buying more items. Because again, my goal right now is I have my goal to be a certain amount of limits on my eBay store, but I have enough inventory to get there. But I want to make sure that what I am doing, I enjoy doing. I don't want to feel like I have to. And when it becomes for me to say, oh, I got to do this, I don't feel like doing it anymore, then I've defeated my purpose of wanting to do this and enjoy it. So that's something you want to do. But again, still making sure you're making money, because that money is something you can put back into the business to reinvest in other things. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Stuart, should we even have to ask this question, Mr. Six Booths? And
you know, I mean, I look at the booths like any other place I sell. I mean, I don't care what the fees are on any place I sell, as long as I'm making whatever margin I say I want to make. You know, they could be charging me 80% fees, and if I can make enough and I couldn't sell that stuff in another outlet, I'm going to do it. I mean, booths have definitely been worth it to me. And as Debbie and Max said, I mean, in today's economy, especially, you know, you want to make sure that, you know, you're bringing in money from however many different sources you can. You know, I have the 6 online marketplaces I sell on, then plus added Whatnot, and do the boosts as well. And so if any one area is slow in a given month, you know, I hopefully have enough coming in from another area to help make up for that, you know, and in a perfect month, all three hit at the same time, you know, and that doesn't happen every month, but occasionally, you know, you'll have one of those months where your boost, your online, and whatever else you're doing all hit as well. And, you know, and I'm constantly looking to diversify what I sell, you know, whether it's, you know, the vintage and antique stuff that I specialize in, or my private label jams and jellies that I started doing, and which has opened up a whole new festival circuit for my wife and I. That is another revenue stream we have now.
You know, one of the things I want to mention too is not to get discouraged if you're not set up and well known yet, or you get yourself out there. Some months will be less income, or that you will have to pay your rent at the beginning. But don't get discouraged. Just make sure you upgrade and bring new things into your booth to give it fresh look. That one eventually you, like for me, it's 2 years now. I didn't even expect to be this long, because again, you don't know with the economy, with the pandemic that was going on. For us, I was lucky that they did close our store, but they opened it to the public where they can go online. We had to post things on Facebook. People were able to buy porch pickup. They were able to buy it and just have it on the porch ready for them. So you want to make sure you open yourself up for more avenues, but don't get discouraged when it's not going the way you want to at the beginning.
Yeah. And I forgot what I was going to say, but that's okay. That's old age. Renee had asked a question about advertise. Do all your locations advertise, or is advertising up to you?
I mean, from a paid advertising standpoint, really only the location in Clinton does much paid advertising, and that would be via the billboard they have on the interstate. Now, all three of my locations are pretty good about, you know, they'll post stuff on Instagram or Facebook to get that advertising. And then, you know, I do as much advertising on my own as I can too. I mean, I'm constantly posting pictures of my booth and even other people's booths on Instagram and my Facebook page. You know, I figure if somebody sees something in somebody else's booth that they like, that gets them in the store and they might buy something from my booth. So,
right.
I think, our mall does do a good bit of advertising. I also think the fact that the people who own the mall were a long time. Our mall has been there 30 years.
Wow.
And I think the fact that they were long-time antique dealers and they got to know all the estate agents and the interior decorators and all that, I think that brings, because we see interior decorators all the time, I think that brings them in and how they have been treated over the years by these people and that mall. So, yeah, I think we're well advertised.
You know, plus, you know, you go to the tourist information centers where they have all those little pamphlets. Yep. And you'll see our mall in 75% of those pamphlets, and the other 25% are the ones that sell houses. You know.
Oh wow.
Well, we have one of those things actually up front by our doors, that like local attractions and things. You know, like you see at the rest stops and stuff. We have one of those by our front doors to, you know, and
all the pamphlets that the mall is advertised in, they keep there also in the mall.
Cool. What about yours, Johnny? Do
they do all the advertising for us, especially when they're doing special events. When it comes to like Easter, they do a lot of Easter egg hunts and Easter things for the kids. If we want to promote it, we go to Facebook and basically share what they're posting. But they do their advertisement, they do the commercials or whatever they're doing for the ads. They do all of that, and then we can go back and piggyback or share off of Facebook. And then they do special events like for kids around Christmas and Easter. They do a big Halloween festival. And they do all the advertisements. They do all of it for us. We just, if we want to participate, we can donate to the participation and we can be there, and they just do that extra mile for us on our booths. So I do that every holiday, especially if I cannot make it. But yeah, they do it all. They do it for us.
Yeah, I've actually made up baskets for different holidays and gave them to the ladies at the front desk and said, you know, you can hand these out. Like Easter eggs may have a piece of candy or a little toy or something in it, Christmas, Halloween, whatever, to give it. If there's kids that come in, you know, let them have. On 4th of July, we had red, white, and blue pinwheels to give it to them to hand out to the people who come in, and they remember that. I mean, that's tiny, but they remember that, and the kids are like, "Oh, I don't mind going in here because I know I'm gonna get something." Now, the time I don't do that, I'm sorry, they're gonna cry and complain, but
That's very cool.
Yeah,
Now, I was just
Halloween, we set a big basket of candy up at the front desk for them. to
Yeah,
give
the
out.
employees love that.
I was going to ask, because I don't think Debbie and Max are, and I know Johnny's not being in Massachusetts, but Stuart, are you close to the route for the 127, the world's longest yard sale?
it's about, it comes through Crossville, Tennessee, which is about 45 minutes west of Knoxville. So
Okay.
I mean, it's not that far, but I mean, I'm not going to set up and sell there or anything like that. So.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask Stuart a question. I'm sorry. And I cannot remember the name, but did you see the show about where the radio station advertises stuff and then people run out and try to get it? I can't remember what it's called now.
It's called, Swap Shop.
Swap shop. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, the guy who headed that up, JD, his auction house is right across the street from our antique mall in Clinton. But yeah, I think they've done pretty well with that show. I'd never heard of it. It's funny, I'd never heard of the radio show till the show came out. But
We have one in Florida that does it too.
Oh, really?
Same people call in. Yeah, I got an outboard motor I'd like to sell, and I'm looking for $5. And people say, "All right, your number 52," and they would call the station. Where can I get number 52's information? Yeah, all over. And unfortunately for me, it was like far away. It was near the villages and stuff.
Oh.
But
Well, you should have
Stuart-
told us, Paul.
I know, I'm sorry. Stuart, if we had to answer Yvonne's question, is there one item you just cannot keep in stock because it sells so fast?
I mean, it really depends on which mall and what time of year it is. But in general, artwork's something I sell usually at least 5 to 10 pieces a week at one of my locations. And then, I don't really have, I guess, selling vintage like I do. I can't really point to a single thing, I guess if you were in a setting where you're selling, figurine or, like Star Wars figurines or Funko Pops or something. I don't know. It really just varies, depending on who walks through the front door, I guess. So,
all right. Debbie and Max, do you have one item you just cannot keep stock?
Well, we're very lucky. Our antique mall does not require you to sell only vintage, as long as you keep with the feeling of, like you can sell like a reproduction, as long, you couldn't bring something brand new. Well, that's not true.
Repros are
A new reproduction. But my jewelry, like I said, if you've ever watched Johnny's show on Wednesday, my jewelry pays our booth rent every month. I sell all kinds of jewelry, and we have the other case that's not jewelry is stones and gems, and those are hits. I mean, we that's when we go to restock. That's the first thing we have to restock is those two. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yvonne, is that for husbands? Do I call that the husband coat?
Yeah, ours does too. Ours has two like church pews up front,
rest area,
and it has an aquarium up there, and it does have a coffee machine and coffee.
That's for the husband, so they wait for their wives to finish shopping, right? Yeah.
And that's
Johnny,
the other thing, which is a smart idea if you ever do it. And I don't know what you, Stuart and Johnny, but that's one thing we noticed was the husbands are like, so we put a men's area in one of our booths, and that's another really good seller for us. They love to have something to look at, and they'll start looking at our stuff, and they'll tell the wife, "Go on, I'll catch up with you."
Oh yeah.
So it's a good idea.
Johnny, do you have one item that you just cannot keep stocked in the booth?
The top thing for me is vintage cameras.
Vintage what?
Cameras.
Oh, cameras. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The older, the better.
Yeah, I do sell a lot of those. So yeah, that would be an item that once you put it in there, they're gone pretty quick.
Yeah.
Wow, like the old speed graphics and stuff like that.
The old Kodaks and Canons and all the old vintage black and whites, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, you're not talking that old. I'm talking speed graphics like from the 20s and 30s and stuff.
Well, I wouldn't say that old. I think the oldest one I sold already was a 1939 camera.
Okay.
I still have one that I put in recently, which I don't know if it's sold yet because I haven't gone back yet. I'm waiting on the 7th. Was one of those that had the old flash light bulb that you had to kind of hold to
Yep.
the side. I just put one of
Yep.
those in there recently too. And it's like the minute I put them in, especially I try to find them that are still with all the extras and all the instructions and the case and all that is what I look for. 9 times out of 10, I'm not paying more than $10 for those, and they're selling for hundreds of dollars in my booth.
Well, a lot of
Wow.
people are converting those to lights,
Yeah.
to lamps.
Yeah. Or they use them for decorator pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. So all in all, I would imagine that you're all happy having a booth or 2 or 3 or 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
And
it's
if you were to, I mean, I know now, Debbie, you hit on it, but for the people listening that are doing eBay, they're doing Mercari, they're doing Bonanza, and I don't know, they have extra time, maybe they're listing 5 or 6 items a day. So maybe they have a day where they have a little extra time or something to put into increasing their business. You would suggest, yeah, maybe go out and look for a booth to rent. And as long as you have the inventory to maintain it, try it out.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have 4 antique malls here. We didn't even go to the others and look because this was so close to home. That was one thing with us. We wanted to be, if they called and said, somebody's up here looking at this, they want to talk to you about it, price break or whatever, but they do that. They've done that over the phone. They'll say, you remember your so-and-so? And they'll go, yeah, the person wants it for such and such. What do you think? And you can counter, and I actually one time said a price and the cashier said, no, that's too low. That's all from this. And they took it. But walk the antique malls. How busy are they? Like go on a Friday or Saturday. Don't, give them the benefit of the doubt. How busy are they? How many empty booths do they have? What do the booths look like? Get their prices. Yeah, definitely. I would highly, highly recommend it because I couldn't even tell you how many pieces we have at our booths, and it would take me forever to get many on eBay, listed and pictured and all that descriptions done. So, oh yeah, it's so much easier for us to do that.
And one of the things I want to suggest that I did when I first moved up here into Massachusetts, and I didn't know anything about these places up here. I even would go to a couple of the places and see on a different day, learn where they were, go and check out on them. Now, the one I'm at, I would actually, before I even started getting a booth, I would go on a regular basis. Hey, how y'all doing? Hello, how's everything? We'd talk to the people. And then I would find out like what are the booth prices and stuff. But I'd also go on a different day of the week. Every day of the week, I would go on a different day. So like say week 1, I'd go on Monday. Next week, I'd go on Tuesday. So I'd go at a different time as well to see, are they busy? Is there a lot of traffic? What days are busiest days? 9 times out of 10, all the days were good, but there were a couple of times that I would go and say early in the morning. A lot of people were going in early in the morning, kind of found out they were the vendors filling their booths up. So then I would go mid-afternoon, and that's like, oh wait, they are pretty busy. But then the closer you get to like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they were packed. So you want to kind of do that, but also in our location, for example, I have a booth what I do where it's strictly just my rent. But there are a few booths that are closed in with windows. So you might want to make sure you check on those as well, because on those it's rent, percentage of the sales for your commission, and then you have to pay credit card fees. So they may have certain booths that don't charge it, but there are some they do. So you want to make sure you do that, because on mine also, they gave us a list when you sign up and you go in and you get a booth. There's a list of things you cannot put in your booth unless you get it approved by the owner or by the management of the company. Because if not, you can't have like clothing, old furniture, things like that. You have to get those kind of things approved. So you got to learn all about that through each of your booths that you want to thinking about going in location wise, but also see what they require and what they don't require as far as in whatever you go. You want to do your homework.
Stuart?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about doing this, I mean, I guess just like Johnny said, I mean, go visit several malls. I know if you can find one that's in an area that's got like a concentration of antique malls, that's good too. Like in Clinton, where I am, the first place I went, one of the reasons I chose that is because there's like 15 to 20 antique malls all within walking distance. And
Wow.
talking about advertising, it's not just our mall that advertises. The whole downtown association, they put on a spring festival, a fall festival. They're constantly doing special events and they advertise those. Think about what you sell. If you want to sell artwork, make sure you got a booth that's got wall space, because a lot of booths don't have wall space. I mean, it may just have a back wall, or it may be a window that you can't hang stuff on. Think about the location, watch traffic patterns. I mean, you may have to bide your time, but I think Johnny said earlier too, just, get to know the people there, show up a lot, and then you're in the pecking order for when new booths open up. I can't tell you how much my sales increased at one of my locations when I moved from an inner aisle to the location right next to the cash register. Exact same stuff, exact same size booth, just moving. I just said, my sales went up over 50% just by moving to that new booth location.
Wow. That's amazing.
Well, that's just like anything else. Location.
Yeah, true.
And that's included in the mall too.
Has the recession hurt any of you yet at the mall? No?
Well, it's hard for me, it's hard to tell if it's the recession or the economy. My sales are down. I'm still making rent. I'm still making a profit. But June and July were slow for me. Like I said, I still made rent. But I'm wondering, that summer's always slow. But I also think this economy mess has got a lot of people clinging to their dollars,
Yep.
So I'm going to kind of wait till September and see what happens. And if September is still slow, then I'll kind of say, yeah, okay, who knows what will be happening during September. But yeah.
Right.
And I will say so far, in at least my experience with booths, they seem to be less susceptible to the economy than my other lines I'm selling in. I mean, in fact, this month we just finished, I had my best month ever with my booth sales that I've ever had. I mean, in 7 years of doing it. So,
wow, nice.
Some of that's probably
7
just
years.
luck, but
You were an eBay seller before the booth, or the booth before eBay?
no, I was online a long time before.
Okay.
I was in the booth.
And Debbie and Max, you were eBay before the booth.
eBay, I was one of the first, 1998.
And Johnny, you were
I
eBay before the booth.
Thrifting first, but my main stream since I moved was eBay first, then antique booths. But I want to say, as far as the recession, I don't think right now. It depends on what people are looking for. But I have to say, for June, I had over $489 over my rent for June. Now I'm just waiting for the 7th to close out for July. So is it going to be better? I don't know yet. But I have not seen. I mean, I'm still getting less sales, but I'm still getting enough to where I'm making enough rent and making a good bit of profit over my rent. So
Nice.
It's been nice. Yeah.
Once again, anybody, thank you all for coming in. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you. Thank you. Hopefully I got everyone's question. If you do have a question, got a couple of minutes left, put it in the chat. Let me ask one final question for myself for the panel. You have online sales, eBay, Mercari, Amazon, whatever it may be. You have an antique booth. So now you have several streams of income. Are any of you looking to add another stream of income?
I mean, I'll never turn down another stream of income. I mean, just like I mentioned, I recently added Whatnot, and that one's been a game changer for me anyway, just in the amount of stuff you can sell.
Yep.
I've sold almost 200 items in the last 2 weeks that would have taken me, who knows how long to sell through, eBay, Etsy, Mercari, those locations. So now challenge is sourcing. Now you got to keep sourcing to replace all that stuff.
Right. But Stuart, you do something that the rest of us don't do. You have private label.
Yeah. And we added that just, the way I came about adding that here in Knoxville, especially when you go up to like Sevierville, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area, every little store you go in has private label, jellies, sauces, barbecue sauces, whatever. And I mean, I know they're not making all that stuff themselves. And so my wife and I talked, I've never seen any of that stuff in any of the antique malls where we are. And at the time, this was pre-COVID, right before COVID hit, we were thinking, and we could also go out and do like church fairs and community fairs and those sorts of things. So, we found a place to private label, and it's an Amish company, and they're really, really good. But as soon as we ordered our first batch, COVID hit, so there were no festivals. So we just started selling them out of our antique malls and did really, really well with them. I mean, I have people now who drive specifically just to buy those. They'll buy, 12 jars, once a month from me. But then we've since in the last 2 months, we've started doing some festivals, and kind of like Whatnot is to the other stuff I sell. We sold this first festival we went to. The weather was terrible. Like half the vendors didn't even show up. It was raining so hard, but we sold 70 jars in 4 hours. So,
Wow.
So we're really looking forward to, I think we have another one in the next 2 weeks sometime. We're going to try to do one festival a month. So.
Wow. So Johnny, any extra streams for you?
One of the things I want to say is I never say never. But for me, I'm only doing this from experience. When I first started doing eBay, I started with eBay, made sure I understood it, got it under control, and then I added Amazon. But before Amazon, I did add Mercari and Etsy. But those were easier for me because I already started on eBay. Then I went to Amazon, but it took me over 2 years to say, okay, let me expand to Amazon, because there was all the hype about Amazon. So then I started doing a few things here and there, and then I'm starting to get the hang of that. I am looking to expand again, but I want to make sure I have control. Like right now, I'm getting ready for Q4. Everybody says, well, why? Because Q4 has always been my best months on any of the platforms. So right now, I'm gauging myself up to Q4. But again, I'm not going to say I won't do other sources of income. But right now, I want to make sure I understand and make sure I get a handle on these that I have now before I add another one. So my goal is to at least have something added by or after Q4, which would be the first of the year. So I'm not saying never, but I'm not doing it at this moment because I want to get it as I'm at now.
Cool. And D, thanks for coming in. Bama, thank you for coming in. And Bama, we did talk about that a little earlier. Catherine, thank you. And Catherine, I too have had this idea because the antique mall that I was in was an old Kmart, and they're all gone now. Where I'm looking to move to in New Hampshire, the antique mall I would like to go to is in Maine, which is an hour away, and I don't know anything around New Hampshire. I'd have to look really good. Catherine, YouTube auctions, do you recommend this stream of income? I'm leery to try a field. People pounce on newbies. Little bit of time. Just get your feet wet until you're comfortable with it, like anything. Just get your feet wet until you know, and you have to decide if you're comfortable with it or not.
And my suggestion is don't do it. And again, it's up to you, depending on how you are with it. I would recommend going on as guest on other channels who do it on a regular basis. If you're doing it on your own channel and you don't know anything about what's going on and you take it a chance, you may strike down in a sense because you're not having someone else to back you up or have somebody with you to collaborate with. So my suggestion is definitely go with someone who's already doing it. If they offer guests on their shows, do it. Get your feet wet. See if you like it that way. If you don't mind doing it that way first.
Yep. And Yvonne, I've done 6 so far, and it's just myself. I don't use the phone. I use my desktop on Whatnot. And I, too, if anybody's interested, I am bringing back Swap Meet Wednesday morning. We did it last week. It worked. Well, 2 weeks ago, we did it people loved it. So I'm going to do it again. I would never try it alone.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, yeah, like Johnny says, we got to be in with somebody, and it's fine.
Yeah.
We're all friends, So does the panel, hello, Dawn and Mary and Dawn, thanks for coming in. Do you have any last words for everybody about this stream of income and Do you have anything coming up? Now I know, Stuart, you have whatnot coming up. Any last nuggets of information? People are very intrigued about the private label jams and jellies. I gotta say that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say, I mean, it's like anything you do in the reselling world, make sure it stays fun. I mean, as soon as it seems like a job, I mean, you're going to hate it. And I mean, I love the boost because I'm down here in my basement in my office, and reselling can be a very lonely life. It gives you a social outlet, to go talk to people and, just to give you a little something different than sitting there, listing on your computer all day. And whether it's boost or whatever. And I mean, if you're a reseller, always be thinking outside the box about ways that you can diversify, because especially in today's world, it's been mentioned several times, you never know when one stream of income is going to go away. And, even if you're just doing it part-time as a hobby, you're trying to make money at it. And it's, if you have one stream of income and that's gone, then, you're done. So.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. Deb and Max, any last nuggets of information?
We're at the twilight of our lives. So,
Well,
it's
we're
like
approaching the twilight of our life.
we're there. We're there. So,
You're on the bus.
yeah, we won't probably be. I mean, we love the antique mall. We love doing the YouTube auctions. But we're probably not gonna
Expand.
We'll probably never go back to online
Because we had
selling.
We had eBay, we had Amazon, we had what's that other one? Etsy.
Yeah.
We did all that, and
we actually would like to. We take one day a week off and do whatever the two of us separately want to do, and we'd like to work more of that into our schedule. We're retired. We're working 6 days a week. Something ain't right.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah,
I love the antique mall though, because you put the stuff out there and you're saying you have preconceptions like, oh, this ought to sell well and this ought to sell. Then all of a sudden it surprises you when, oh, that sold? Oh wow, hey, that was great, and it's like it's always an adventure.
Yeah, we'll see something we both go, oh, I love that, and I go, okay, well that's the kiss of death, So.
Cool. Johnny, any last nuggets of information?
One of the things is don't eliminate things that you can have on your stream of income. Make sure you enjoy what you do, but make sure you do your homework before you go into a specific location, because every location of any antique malls or anything like that have their own ways of doing things. So make sure you can definitely do your homework and see what they have, what they require, what is expected of paying the rent, and any fees or things that they charge. Actually, you want to make sure you go into it open-minded, because some places it may be worth it because of the location, but also make sure, like I was saying earlier too, when you're doing this, make sure it's something that you enjoy doing, but it's also another way for you to have income. But most of all, if you don't think you can set it into your schedule, like I always say, do what's called time blocking. If you can set a time and a date to do this, like for me, I do it either on a Tuesday or a Thursday when it comes to going to my booth, because one of those days I'm doing house cleaning, laundry, whatever. So I time block and make sure I'm going to do this day. I'm going to go to my antique booth this day. If I can't do it, then it's got to be a weekend. So you want to make sure you time block, do your homework, and make sure that it will be something that you enjoy, not something that you feel it's something you have to do.
Yeah, well, because once it becomes a job,
then you're defeating the purpose of what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's any more questions from the chat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
And we are planning to do a video of our entire mall, just on our booth. It'll be like a slideshow thing of our mall. We've already got the pictures, everything. Max has just got to put it together. So that will be coming soon on our channel.
Yeah.
Do you all have pictures of your booth we could leave everybody with?
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I've
All
got
right.
plenty.
I know I asked that, but the questions were really good, and the information was awesome too. Put your links in, and I'll get them, and we'll share the screen.
Links. You want me to share the screen or?
Yes, share the screen.
Oh, okay.
Share a screen. Share it now.
Who's sharing first?
Oh, I got to open it up first.
I don't care anybody. I don't see any links
Just a
yet.
minute.
I'm
It's
trying to
coming
open
here.
it to where it shows the whole thing. I
Share
got so many
a screen. Share it now.
There we go. Okay,
There's
now I
a
gotta go to share
screen.
screen.
Whoa. All right. What am I
And let
doing
me
wrong?
find it.
I have no
think
idea.
I think I've got mine shared, Paul. I
Window,
don't
there, share.
There we go. Whoops. What happened?
That's
Well, I
our
think-
display case.
All right. There's the screen.
It's one of our display cases.
Oh, so just a regular showcase.
Yeah,
that's
this
the
is
one.
the one that the men go to.
Yeah.
You can see Maxx behind it loading up.
Yeah, with the big samurai sword.
Yeah, we sold every single one. That
Yeah.
booth cleared out when we were
Yeah,
in
all
Florida.
that stuff you see here, except for the two of the machetes, all that stuff is sold already. It's been replaced.
Wow.
The picture.
I'll be renting on a table once a month. Nice.
It's just, yeah. And there's,
Yeah, I had that. That sold while we
That
were in
sold.
Florida.
yeah.
Yeah, these are some just pictures of the antique mall in general. Some other people's,
Yeah.
yeah. Marble, man. Jewelry.
Oh,
I love those
picture.
polka dot glasses. Those aren't mine. I would have sold them. Max
Oh,
loved it.
so you do have furniture. Yeah.
There's,
And this guy has pinup art. And I actually have some pinup art that I got, and eBay banned it, and I was wondering where I was going to sell it at. So I may try to get a hold of him and see if he wants to get it. Of course, we have records.
Now, going back to that art, I see people at booths, they'll take that full page from, was it Look magazine or something with the ad for cigarettes or something like that, old cars, and they'll frame it and sell it for a good amount of money.
Yeah, I kept buying. Max keeps yelling at me because I keep buying empty frames. But I mean, they're expensive. And if
Yep.
I see one, yeah, I buy them. And that was my intent to do that. Oh, that's Bakelite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, this is your booth?
No,
this
this
is
is.
the
I just
ball in
walked
general.
around. I was gonna. Yeah.
There's some neat stuff.
Fast.
I'm just kind of paging through it, see what's there. I don't know.
Going really fast. What do you think? I bet.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, this one up in the front of the place.
He's moved now.
Oh, he moved away from the front?
No, he was in the back, and this is him, and he's moved to the front now.
Yeah, he moved that one.
Yeah, he only sells Blanco glass there.
Wow.
Yeah, oh, it's gorgeous when the sun comes through it. Yeah, he's even got the. Now this
This
is
is
one
one of our jewelry
cases.
cases. There's the other one with
That's
all
the
this
rocks and gems and stuff.
So if somebody wants something in there, they go to the front, they say, I like to see something in that case, and they unlock it for them, right?
Yeah, the
Wow.
cashier will walk back
Plus,
with them.
plus they have a key to our case that's over in our booth too. So
And then they
Theirs, Yvonne, theirs.
they will take it to the front, and they say when you're ready to check out, we'll have it up front for you. They don't hand it
Yep.
to them and say, okay, you know.
And there's her favorite hat. I
That
figured
hat.
I didn't know.
You're evil.
Yeah.
I love that skunk hat, though. I do.
Okay.
Nice.
Actual case is yours. We have one of the cases, the one that had the swords and knives and stuff. We own that one. And the two that had the jewelry and the stones and rocks, they have a separate area on the side of the store that's all glass cases. They're over there, and you just rent them.
Nice. And I know, Johnny, it's probably kind of far for you, but if anybody's in the southern New Hampshire that's looking for showcases, my son has two, I think 6 or 7 foot showcases that he's trying to sell. I had them on Marketplace when I was up there. He actually got them for me because I wanted to open up a store when I moved up. Now this is Stewart's.
So can you see my screen there?
Yep,
Yeah.
you're sharing. We're sharing.
So this is my booth in Clinton. This is right as you walk in the front doors I mentioned, and just give you an idea of some of the stuff that I have in there. And as mentioned, this one's, I have a little bit of artwork and stuff, but it's more smalls at this particular mall. And then I think it's, there we go.
Yeah, I just started selling books. I sold 3 this week. So
yeah, I sell a ton of books out of that particular mall. And then let me see, let me pull up and then records is one of my bread and butter items at that particular place. I have so many there. And then here's my display for my private label stuff at that particular mall. So, and that's literally right next to the cash register too. So there's a lot of impulse buys I get.
Yeah, I like that display.
For that. And then let's see. Hold on just a second. Let me find. Yeah, so here's some pictures just of the products.
Was there any special licensing you need to do your own private label?
No, I have liability insurance just on the off chance, somebody were to get sick, but a lot of that liability goes back to the people who make it too. And then this is my newest booth. This is the one at West End Antiques in Knoxville.
Wow.
As you can see, I have more furniture. I actually just sold this big china cabinet yesterday. I got that for free off Facebook Marketplace.
God.
And then I sold this couch not too long ago. This is kind of an older picture here, but
you had to have, you're not doing this alone. You had to have some help moving that big stuff.
My brother helped me move that. Yeah, I used his truck and and it was very heavy. I will say that because it's a huge cabinet. And then
it looks
I sell some artwork out of this place. I'm still trying to kind of find my niche at that particular location. And then, and here's Bearden. So this is the one where I have so much artwork. And, and this is just, they also have like upstairs at Bearden, they have kind of like free space that you can do. And I have probably another 50 pieces of art upstairs. But wow. I sell a ton of art out of this particular booth location. But yeah, it gives you a flavor of some of the kinds of things that I sell.
Very cool.
What was that one jam that said like maple bacon something?
Oh, it was, it's, see if it's in this.
Hold on.
Well, yeah, I don't have it in this picture, but yeah, we have there it is, medium bacon salsa. It's just a bacon flavored salsa. But like out of all these varieties, the ones I sell the most of are the pickled beets. I can't keep. Those things like fly off the shelves.
Wow.
And then this
and if you all,
what's that?
If you're all not subscribed to Stuart's channel, Franklin Hill Ventures, you got to check it out because he was on the show once. He says, I have to go and start smoking some meat. Go check a look at what some meat. You'd think he was feeding the army.
Well,
he had so much meat.
When you got 4 kids, you are feeding an army. So
yeah.
Yeah, I thought I had pictures of that on here somewhere, but yeah, I do have a video on YouTube of all this meat that I smoked at one particular time. So
my mouth was drooling after that.
Now, is this a display unit?
This is what I started with on my booth. This is a corner shelf unit.
Oh,
I was only paying $25 a month for this unit right here.
That's a nice for 25.
Right. And on this one, what I did was, this is when I emptied it out. And I'm 1 aisle away from this one. But this one, I also was able to put stuff on the tops and on the sides.
Yeah.
So I was able to use the side of my booth as well for the $25. Then I went to, that's the other side of it. And you can decorate it however you want. And I just had the red and white all on each other shelf. And then I went to this booth. Now, this is me moving from, and my booth was right here behind me. Now I'm moving into this booth. And this is my newest one, where I started with basically moving stuff, shelvings to bring stuff from this booth out. And then I also had, did I miss it somewhere? No, where did it go? I thought I had the other one first. No. Okay, I must have went the wrong way. But anyway, this is the one I actually started with. I did have a rug put down so I can put all my shelvings around it when I start it, for that reason, because I didn't want to have just a plain floor. And then once I put all my shelves around it, like you're going to see here, it basically starts filling up fast. And that was my measurements of that particular booth. And then I have all those burlap on the walls to kind of give it covering. Then I had moved from this one to move everything there. And then that's when I started moving things in, had some furniture pieces, added another glass. I had these in my formal dining room, and I moved them to use here. This is
You said you moved them. Were they for sale also, or
No.
just strictly display?
Just play only for those. And this is me moving new stuff into this booth as I'm moving it in from my other booth. This is me basically filling it up. That was a little video. This was the original booth I also had with the bookcase and this one. This is me completely moving out of this one into the new booth I just showed. And then again, I basically emptied that one out. This is how it was, just a small little spot that I started with. So don't be afraid to start in smaller areas. And then this is what it looks like now. I leave this little space here. Once that's sold here, I was able to start putting pictures on this portion of the wall there. Then I also have lock cases within my booth. That way they know they have to ask for the key. Everything we do on here, and like this is already sold, this is already sold, all this is already sold. And then I have things that are higher dollar, and this is a 3-sided old watch display case that I'll put brooches and things like that in this booth here, in that display case. And all the keys are at the front desk with it as well. Also have little smaller paintings and things like that. And then I have each corner booth like this has shelvings that I filled in with things there. And so everything, even now, mind you, I would have never thought the old box of aluminum foil, because I had the original old fashioned that you hang on the wall that was made out of aluminum. You could put the foil, the saran wrap, and paper towel holder.
Yeah.
That sold, and then this sold the next day. The old,
Oh, wow.
and it had a little bit of foil left in it, but it was because of the vintage portion of that foil box. Very little left in it, but it still sold. And I do have my booth name here, where they can also ask for it by that, because that's what they know me as in that particular booth. Then I'm going to show, this is just a small clip of the glass case I have. It is a smaller video of me moving into this glass
Just taking
booth.
a general picture.
I have all high
Showing
class
how I'm getting it.
Brooches.
Getting it ready before the Thanksgiving
Fenton.
holiday.
Oh,
Sounds like you're out of breath.
Get a room I can get in there. Things on top
And of
of
course,
each
I
other.
always add to it
I
as
don't
I
like
go.
that, but that's what they
Jewelry,
want.
watches, Fenton.
Wow, very nice.
I even have Fenton in the top shelf. All this is of jewelry. Other pieces that I got hanging here. Rings and things like that here. Old army hat, bonnet.
Damn, that's a big dragonfly.
Yes. This already sold. That's a Fenton anniversary piece. And that's all in my glass booth.
That's nice.
Yeah. And that's basically starting from a small booth into what I got now.
Wow. Well, any more questions in the chat? Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Thank you for the super chats and everything. I greatly appreciate it. And everybody on the panel, your booths are fantastic.
Thank you.
Your knowledge is fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing with everybody. Having an antique booth as a extra stream of income. There's a couple of people in the chat that were saying some stuff that it's like, you know, you guys should have been on the panel. Somebody, I forget who it was, is renting a table at a flea market coming up. And I think it's Dee that works in the flea market. She has a booth in a permanent space in the flea market. Would have been good to get your take on that too. But we'll do it again. So anybody have anything coming up soon? Johnny, you have bingo at 5?
4:30 this afternoon. Every Monday afternoon at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Fun Night Bingo Night. Monday through Friday, I have the 8:30 morning show where it's Coffee with Kajun, and you basically come in and promote your channel. I do auctions on Wednesday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is the Hump Day auction. Every other Friday is the TGIF Buy Now Sell auction. And every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Joy of Auction Sunday.
Stuart?
Let's see. We'll have a Whatnot show coming up Wednesday at 2. It's going to be my first stab at selling coins, and I'll have a few postage stamps thrown in there as well. I was recently, if you want to hear, I guess, a little bit more of my story and how I got started, I was on the Consignment Chat podcast recently and also on the Reseller Community podcast. So you can find both of those. And they have a lot of great episodes with a lot of great interviews with a lot of great information. So I would encourage you to check those out. Other than that, I really appreciate you having me on. It was fun. So
Thank you. Max and Debbie?
That's your department.
That's my department. What are we saying? I'm sorry,
We own Johnny's show.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're going to be on Johnny's Hump Day auction this Wednesday. This afternoon, I'll be helping Johnny out with the bingo night. And let me see, Sunday. What do we got coming up next Sunday?
Nothing.
I thought it was next Sunday. Oh no,
We're going to the grandkids. I don't think they care. We're going to see our grandkids.
Yeah, I knew we had something coming up Sunday.
Yeah, we got it together.
Yeah.
And thank you for asking me to be on here, Paul. I really
Yes,
No, thank
you
you all
very
for
much.
coming on. This was great. A lot of good information. And it's good because 3 different states, you heard 3 different views. So it was very good. It was really, really good. I appreciate you all coming on.
Yeah, and if
So-
anybody has any questions,
Yeah.
emails right there. Drop us an email. We'd be happy to answer if we can.
Yep.
Absolutely. And all you got to do, remember, just hit the 3 dots after everybody, connect with everybody. Thank you, Jennifer, for dropping some links. Thank you. Thank you. As always, everybody, thank you for your support. And Maddie says hello.
Oh.
Till tomorrow, we'll be back on again at 10. Don't forget, Wednesday morning at 10. I'm going to do swap meet again. So if anybody can come on, sell 3 items, if you'd like, just to try to get your feet wet. See if you like it. So with that, good morning, everybody, and thank you very much, and make some money today.
have a good day.